All right, we're now the team 2, the Dallas Mavericks, and what?
Fuck the Mavericks. Fuck the motherfucking Mavericks.
Fuck you,
It's all
man.
about them Redskins.
Redskins don't even beat him.
Fuck Dallas.
What?
Redskins. Redskins.
Yo, shut up, man.
Redskins.
Shut up.
You don't tell me the motherfucker shut up. Redskins.
You know I could
It's
just
all about them skins.
I could just shove you off this couch to your break. You know that, right?
Now, why would you want to do that? I ain't done nothing to you, man.
Well, just let me finish
Go do
this.
your thing.
Appreciate it. Now, as I was saying, we're down here with the Dallas Mavericks, and here's some notable free agents and expiring contracts. The free agency list, man, we got some interesting people on here. We got Nerlens Noel, who I feel like will not come back. He's been in the doghouse the better part of this whole time here in Dallas. As much as we see the kind of potential he had going from his rookie year, if you look at his stats is going all the way down. He averaged only 4 points a game last year and only played 30 games. So, I mean, what are you actually paying for if you're trying to give that guy, last year he turned down $17 million from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this is a qualifier now for $5 million. Now he's officially an unrestricted free agent. Now he can sign for the maximum deal. We're looking probably about $24 million. Do you want to pay a guy that averages 4 points, even at his career high? I think his career high is like 11 points and probably 8.1 rebounds. Like, is that really worth $24 million? If I'm paying $24 million, it's going to have to be for a guy who averages at least 15 and 10. Nerlens Noel hasn't shown that as of yet. He's shown flashes, but not as of yet. Doug McDermott and Seth Curry, 2 shooters. One was been injured pretty much most of the year. The other one just arrived and did pretty much a good job. If they want $10 million a piece, I will bring them back. I would love that. Salah Mejri, I know he's coming back. Yogi Ferrell's another interesting person, man. $1.3 million. The thing about the CBA, you can go over the salary cap to re-sign your guys, and the Mavericks are scheduled to have about, $24-25 million. And if you add up all these numbers right here, 11.3, about $15 million. They're already 13 over right now. So probably $28 million in cap space. So if they were to acquire a guy like DeAndre Jordan, who has a player option next year, he can opt in. We can send over something very minimal. Let's say, look at that guy over there on the expiring contract, Maxi Kleber, because the Clippers, all they want to do is clear some space. We give them Maxi Kleber. They give us something for taking on the DeAndre Jordan contract. Boom. We can fit him in, and at the same time, probably resign Doug McDermott or Yogi Ferrell. Seth Curry, we have enough shooters as it is. Our problem is rebounding. Our problem isn't shooting. But I do think that we'll bring back 4 of those guys: McDermott, Seth Curry, Mejri for sure, Yogi Ferrell probably. Nerlens Noel, I think he's on his way out. The only way Nerlens Noel comes back is if the market is dry. And we'll probably bring him back for probably $13 to $15 million. We'll probably bite the bullet. And if you look at the expiring contract side, Wes Matthews, who was in the middle of trade talks with Atlanta before that Luka Doncic trade, they were talking about Wes Matthews, Kent Bazemore, and the picks that were already sent officially, switched 3 and 5 and a first. They was going to switch Kent Bazemore and Wes Matthews, which I felt like wasn't fair because Wes Matthews is an expiring contract. Kent Bazemore has, a couple more years left on his contract and more money. So look for Wes Matthews being in a lot of trade talks with this expiring contract. Fairly affordable, fairly a bargain for the kind of player he is. He's a 3-and-D kind of guy. Dirk Nowitzki, he's, the thing about him is that this player option of $5 million, he could opt out and probably get whatever's left in this free agency period right now, just like every year. JJ Barea, look for him to be in trade talks. It was almost between him and Devin Harris in regards to, who the Mavericks trade. I thought it was going to be Barea because at that time, he was averaging probably 15, 16 points a game. So I kind of thought that, might as well trade him while he's hot. But they decided to keep him. Maxi Kleber, I only list him because he might be in the middle of a trade with a team that wants to dump some salary, bring back some minimum salary. And at the same time, this is a guy who's productive. This is a guy who showed that he could be a shot blocker. He's a very good hustle guy. He can shoot the outside jumper. Somebody's going to want him just as a salary dump to bring into the Mavericks. So my prediction for the Mavericks is this. You go out, you acquire a guy that can help you with rebounding, a Nikola Vucevic, a Marcin Gortat, a DeAndre Jordan. You acquire those guys because in the draft, you know, Mo Bamba, you didn't cover them that high at number 5. You got the guys you wanted, Luka Doncic. You got the guy that you always wanted. Now you go in free agency. It's almost like they know that getting the guy that they want in free agency is a sure thing because teams are going to be willing to dump these contracts like a Gortat, like a Vucevic, you know, who those two guys especially, you know, those teams are kind of moving on. You can tell by the way they drafted, especially Vucevic in Orlando. Orlando drafted Mo Bamba, so you know they're gonna want to dump that salary. And
by making that trade through the CBA rules, you acquire his bird rights, which means that you can sign him for a 5-year deal, right, Chris?
Exactly. So essentially, you get these guys for essentially 6 years, including the contract that they're expiring on. That's the deal with all this. But of course, in the case of DeAndre Jordan, he's about to turn 30 years old. So you kind of got to be careful with doing the deals for him. You know what I'm saying? But that's my prediction for Dallas Mavericks. Look for them to try to go trade for a rebounder, a rim protector, or some sort like that. They did, however, trade for Ray Spalding in the draft, and they got Kostas Antetokounmpo, which is Greek Freak's brother, another long, rangy guy, kind of like a Dory Finney-Smith. I like what we got so far, but if free agency, look for us to trade for a shot blocker.